Yes, folks. House rental prices are going through the roof. So let's have a look at how one of our socialist geniuses is addressing that.
Landlords are on notice after the government introduced strict guidelines to make rental properties warmer and drier. The new standards will ensure the main living area of a home can be heated to 18 degrees Celsius, provide ceiling and underfloor insulation, and include other measures to do with ventilation, moisture and drainage. But as Laura McDonald reports, the improvements will take some time to implement.
A cold, wet Wellington day. The perfect setting for Housing Minister Phil Twyford to introduce the government's plan to make Kiwi renters warmer and drier.
This is one of the most important public health
Socialist genius number one.
reforms that we can make as a country.
A health reform because the government links 1,600 deaths each year in part to cold and damp homes.
It's time to change all this.
Although the time to change will take time. Private landlords have 2 years to comply, but only when a tenancy rolls over. Housing New Zealand has until July 2023. All rental properties must be compliant within 5 years or face penalties.
Fines of up to $4,000 in the case of a breach.
Housing New Zealand has 68,000 homes. It will cost more than $200 million to upgrade them. The cost to private landlords will vary, but could be up to $7,000, a cost that may hurt renters.
May hurt renters, you don't say.
There will now be fewer places available for rent. Those fewer places will demand a higher rent.
Of course. Yeah, fewer places, higher rent. Simple supply and demand. Anyway, right now we'll go and have a look at another brainwave coming from our socialists. Yes, the capital gains tax.
Taxing the capital made from selling rental properties is one suggestion from the tax working group. It says rents could go up, but believes the tax will help ease house prices.
Maybe in the short term. So we may have some investors leave the market ahead of the changes in tax laws.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'll do. I'll be forced to do that.
So it may have more choice for the first home buyers.
But housing experts don't think the move will have a lasting effect on prices. The family home would be exempt.
People may overinvest in their family home, but also it may disincentivise other investment, people buying property for the rental market, for instance. And so this may push up prices in the rental market.
This won't have much.
Exactly. And people will put their money into the one house. And they'll buy boats and they'll buy paintings, whatever, any way they can avoid the capital gains tax. Anyway, right now we'll go back to the original video, the first one, and continue that.
The New Zealand Property Investors Federation agrees. While it welcomes some standards, it argues that the heating and insulation requirements are not cost effective and could just drive rent up by $25 a week. Hiria Teirangi runs a charity installing sensors that test the warmth of some of our coldest homes. She says these standards are a good step, but the biggest barrier to warm housing is still the cost of electricity.
So it's the cost of electricity is the biggest barrier to warming houses. So I wonder how our own our own socialist genius is going to address that.
If we are to be honest with ourselves about our future, we need to transition away from oil and gas and fossil fuels. So we have ceased to offer any more permits for oil and gas exploration in New Zealand offshore.
Oh, she's a cartoon. We have our own Ocasio-Cortez. She's exactly the same as Ocasio-Cortez. And she proposes to warm houses by taking away gas, a very clean alternative form of energy to electricity. That is just lunacy, absolute lunacy. Yes, folks, she is just a buffoon like Ocasio-Cortez. She's exactly the same. She's another Green New Dealer.